That's a bluebird. The bluebirds are back. That's what this show is going to be all about. We're going to talk about how to attract bluebirds, and we're going to talk about how to develop their populations in our neighborhoods and in our backyards. So stay tuned. Hi folks, I'm Jim Miller. I'm a retired environmental professional with a lifelong interest in wildlife biology and ecology. My project, I'm calling it the Bluebird Restoration Project. It's an effort to try to increase the bluebird population in Billerica. There is an existing population. I think it's fairly minimal. I'm sure it can be increased significantly. I've been studying bluebirds now for 3 seasons, so I've gained some knowledge. I have roughly 30 some odd bluebird boxes scattered around the town. I've been managing those boxes and studying the bluebirds as they go from nesting through the egg laying and rearing their juveniles. I thought that I could share some of this information with you, and maybe you'll join us in becoming part of the Bluebird Restoration Project yourself. It's April Fool's actually, April 1st today, and we're in my yard and we have a nesting bluebird in the bird box. You can see the female entering the box, bringing in the mostly pine needles and building the nest, and the male, you know, casually observing. I think he's defending, but you know how males are, right? Sure. So anyway, bluebirds started nesting yesterday, and they're continuing this morning. The female very actively bringing in pine needles, and we've been watching them come and go. And then just a few minutes ago, a different bird showed up, blocked the hole, and kind of checked it out, and it turned out to be a chickadee. Well, hopefully he won't keep coming back and try to claim the hole, but basically chickadee is competing with the bluebird. Fortunately, the chickadee isn't near as aggressive as the other, you know, the house sparrow and the house wren, so hopefully the bluebirds will persist. He wants to use it.
He was like taking stuff out.
It's a competitive world out there. I wish the bluebird would come back and chase him out of there. All right, well, we're going to let the bluebirds and the chickadee work out their issues here. Hopefully the bluebirds will prevail and we'll have, you know, a complete nesting situation. Chickadees, you know, they can nest anywhere. So hopefully they'll leave the area. So let's talk about attracting bluebirds. The best way to attract bluebirds is to offer mealworms. Mealworms come dried, they're freeze-dried larvae from some beetle, and the bluebirds just love those. The adult bluebirds love mealworms. If you put them out in winter, especially late winter, early spring, chances are you're going to attract bluebirds. Just one warning on the mealworms. Once bluebirds have nested, once the nesting season starts, please don't feed them mealworms. The bluebird associations, especially the North American Bluebird Association or Society, warns against feeding the dried mealworms during the nesting cycle, because the adults will feed the young, and the young depend upon the water that's contained in insects. That's the only way they get their water. And if the adults are feeding them freeze-dried mealworms, that really can inhibit their growth and can actually be very unhealthy for the juveniles. So that's the only warning with mealworms. So now on to how to build their population, or how to create nesting pairs of bluebirds in your yard. So what I have with me today is a nest box that I built, and I built it to the recommended dimensions that the Bluebird societies provide. And I'm going to go over the dimensions, the construction, the siting, and some of the issues associated with trying to encourage bluebirds versus other types of birds to use this as a nest box. The two most important dimensions on the nest box is the size of the entrance hole, 1.5 inches in diameter, very important. And then the second most important is the distance from the base of the hole to the top of the floor. So you don't want to exceed 6 inches. It can be shorter or less, less distance, but 5 inches, 5.5 inches is good. So those are the two most important dimensions. On this particular box, you should be able to see that I have cross ventilation built into the sides. I don't know if you can see that, but on each side there's a vent. So that's important. These boxes get real hot in the middle of June. And then the other thing, since you're going to be managing these bluebirds and creating the best conditions for their survival, you want to have I prefer a side door. You want to have a way to inspect the status of their nests. And so you have a side door that you can open and look inside and do whatever you have to do with the birds. Usually you're going to be recording or observing changes in the nest, the size of the nest, the type of materials in the nest, and then the status of the eggs and the young. One other thing that I need to mention is that the bottom, the floor, needs to have some type of drainage. I drill holes, but some boxes have the corners cut. But anyway, that's an important feature as well. Okay, we're here at Vietnam Veterans Park. We're looking into the community garden where we started with our nest boxes, 3 or 4 years ago, and had our first success. So we're going to look at site number 1, my best ever site. So we're going to walk over to that right now. So believe it or not, this is this huge stone wall. To this side of the stone wall is the old Treble Cove Road. That's Treble Cove Road up there. This is overlain with soil, but there was a Treble Cove Road here. Oh, there goes a bird. I think it was a sparrow. Yeah, I think it was a sparrow. So let's go check that box first. We walk up. When you're checking the boxes, you walk up slowly, you try to make some noise so you don't startle a bird that's inside. And the idea is you don't want to spend a lot of time, a couple minutes. So we open it up and there's the nest. And notice it's made of grass, dead grass. This is more than likely a sparrow nest. I'm going to let the sparrow continue nesting there, and then at some point I'm going to have to do something to deal with it. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Probably nothing. Now this box, this particular model box, comes with this plexiglass panel, which is nice. It enables you to look in. If there's chicks in there, there's always the danger of them flying out or jumping out because they're feared, they get startled or whatever. So this allows you to check in and observe them without really disturbing them. So that's one nice feature of these commercially available wood boxes. Nothing's in there. So we have hope that the bluebirds might find that box. In this area around this part of the park, there's an awful lot of house sparrows. So because the house sparrows will compete with the bluebirds, one way of trying to prevent that is to put two boxes close together. And with the idea that the house sparrow will nest in one box, and that's all that sparrow is interested in. Once it has its box and its nest site, if a bluebird does come into its territory, or if a bluebird tries to nest in that box, the sparrow won't bother it. And in addition, the sparrow will chase other sparrows away from the area because the house sparrow is very territorial. And neither bird competes for habitat other than the nest box. They don't compete for food. The bluebirds eat insects primarily off the ground. The house sparrows are seed eaters. So hopefully this works out. I used it last year and with some success, so we'll see how it goes this year. So what we can do now is walk around and look at the other nest boxes that are here on the community garden, and I can check to see if my peas ever did germinate. Okay. So some time ago, the Boy Scouts built a little flower bed where you can see where the logs are. It needs to be, regenerated, really, rehabbed. I cleaned out and planted a lot of plants in this area 2 years ago. That obviously needs some work. So the community garden's very nice. Sometimes during the summer I'll come down here early with coffee and just sit. We have these nice Adirondack chairs in here. Yeah, we'll go this way. So yeah, you can just sit in these Adirondack chairs and drink coffee, and thank God you're retired. If anyone's interested in participating in this community garden, the person to contact is Wayne Smith. There is information up on that bulletin board about applying for a plot. You apply for a plot, you'll see them as we walk through. You have to be a citizen of Billerica. It's a $20 fee, and you get lots of access to tools and fertilizer and good conversation with other gardeners. So these are the plots, so you can see the outline of the plots. This is my plot. A couple weeks ago I planted 2 rows of peas, and I don't see any green vegetation. I see a lot of peas that have surfaced. Oh, hey, maybe there's hope. Hey, all right. I planted a lot of peas though. Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so now this is a new area that's being developed. The garden's going to be extended into this area. Now there is a new site, a new box, whole new setup I put up just a few weeks ago actually. I'm trying it out. You're supposed to space these out. You know, I've seen all kinds of recommendations, but the idea is to spread them out by like at least, a lot of people say 100 yards, but I've seen them a lot closer than that, so we'll see what happens. I don't see any activity. So again, you approach it. I can tell there's nothing inside. Just, oh, there's some grass. That's not a nest. It's a sparrow saying, hey, this could be my property. I don't want any other sparrow using it. So they do that. They set up, they'll add grass to a variety of places, but only use one. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to frustrate the sparrow, and maybe a bluebird will look at it. All right, we're going to go over there. So you can see there's a lot of sites, a lot of garden plots. Everyone has their own unique way of doing things. As far as siting these houses near roads and near homes and all that, I don't have a lot of experience, but what I've read is that you can put houses near roads. The traffic, at least normal traffic, doesn't seem to bother them. Just don't have the opening facing the road, because when the youngs come out, you know, they go out into the road. That'd be the end of them. So as far as the house goes, you saw at my house, it was probably, what, 15 feet away from the corner of my house. So, and it was very close to the road, and they seem to be tolerating those conditions. As long as you have a lawn, they like short grass, and there's enough space around so that they're not constantly being triggered by human activity. You know, it's worth trying, put it that way. You know, for a small amount of money, if you're interested, it's worth popping one up and giving it a try. You know, that's the whole idea. You just keep siting them in different places. I moved mine this year, and lo and behold, I got bluebirds. I only moved it like 10 feet, but that was enough. Yeah, I moved it away from my house. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good thing to address this problem, because, you know, after all, it was us humans who caused the decline of the bluebirds and many other animals, including many other birds. And we have an opportunity using nest boxes, pretty simple devices, to restore these populations. So watch your footing in here. This is, we're walking through a disturbed area. I think there was a building here at one time. And there's boards and rocks and things that might trip you up. So I sited these two boxes at this location last year. I don't know if they're going to be successful. They're quite a ways away from the hot site, my best site. So that's a good thing, but the habitat looks kind of sketchy. I guess we'll see. There is grass, there's short grass, just short flight over, you know, away. So we'll give it a try. Like I say, you got to just keep trying different sites, and eventually you'll be lucky. So let's see what we got here. Nothing. In my mind, that's a good sign, because the sparrows haven't discovered it yet. This is also empty. Good. I think that's good. So again, I doubled up because we're in sparrow territory. Okay, we're going to go out that way. All right, now we're walking over to my last site here at the gardens. And again, this is a new site, newly placed site from last, that I moved the end of last season. The season's pretty short. They start nesting in April, beginning of April, and I've seen them broods right up into the end of July. The bluebirds will have two broods, sometimes 3. We're going to go over here. There's a big hole that got me the last time I came here, right there. So, oh, you can see grass. Oh, this is chock full. Hear it? There's no echo. Maybe it's a mouse nest. So you see grass, that's a sparrow creation. Now whether or not they're really going to nest there or if they're just claiming it, I don't know, but I'm going to remove all the contents. See how this really isn't woven? Pine needles, you'll see when they build it, it's almost, it takes the form of the box and it's like tightly knitted together. Okay, so that wraps up the community garden. Now we're going to take a walk around other parts of the Vietnam Park where I've got some nest sites. I've got 2 nest boxes right on the far edge of this. We can go there. We'll have to communicate with the flyers, let us go across there, and we can look at those. Then there's 2 more up here, so we can walk over to those. These flyers are pretty active. On the weekends, there's always people here. Excuse me, sir. Can I go check those nest boxes? We're just going to walk over there to the edge of the field. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so empty. So this is another contraption that I cobbled together, one pipe into another pipe and held together with a pipe clamp, just so I could utilize what I had hanging around, you know. And this is even this is even crazier. Rebar holding up this pipe. All right, let's see. Let's hope that there's some sign of bluebird activity. Nope. Well, that could be, because that's what they do. Yeah, that's what the male does, so we'll see. It's not pine needles, but we'll see. Wow, okay. And you can see these designs a little different than the ones we looked at earlier, where the roof actually butts up to the back versus coming over the top. And I think it's a little longer than, I swear every box came out a little different. I probably have 35 different designs. This is a perfect location for a nesting bluebird. It looks like the female. Oh, yeah, wants to come back. Is there any twigs or anything in its mouth? Oh, it's come down to the ground to pick up something. It's picking up something. Is he on the ground over here? Oh, there he goes, yeah. I see a little bit of blue. I think it's the female though. See, so it's up by the street, so the traffic isn't bothering me. Well, it shows you that even in urban environments, you can find bluebirds. Yeah. We got planes flying overhead, cars going back and forth. And the birds are just minding their own business. Is that the female? Yeah. Oh, going in. She's saying, you know, I like it, but the kitchen is way too small. You're gonna have to renovate the kitchen. And I don't like the bathrooms at all. I want those rebuilt. So this is another box that I've cobbled together. This is lousy wood. You can see it's all warped and breaking up, but it works. Oh. No, this is a sparrow. You see all the grass, dead grass, feathers, and it's all like bushy. I found all kinds of pieces of cellophane and wrappers and stuff like that. That's the structure of a house sparrow. So I'm doing this to discourage it. See, there's like an entrance. It sits up like this, but it's really not a discrete entrance. So this is it for this area. Without getting into the shrubs, there's one in back of the dog park, which isn't too bad. Then there's two beyond that. And then there's one across the street from the dog park. So those three are very accessible. I'm gonna miss my nap though. Okay, I think that's a wrap for today. Well, folks, we finished our first day in the field. We had a lot of fun. We looked at a lot of bluebird boxes. We studied some nest building character. We've seen various habitats, and I would say we've had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join us for our next field trip.